Good afternoon. There's still a couple stragglers coming, and we ran out of programs. That's wonderful. This is kind of like the CEO Club, Christmas, Easter only. We don't see this many people that often in this sanctuary. So this is wonderful. Welcome to Fountain Hills Presbyterian Church, and welcome to this beautiful sanctuary. For those who haven't been to this sanctuary, again, a special welcome. We appreciate you being here. And this is such a wonderful day. You know, it's beautiful Arizona weather, great weather to be outside. So we appreciate you coming in here and giving us a little bit of time for this special event. So you're going to hear some beautiful music. You're going to hear about the wonderful work that the Robert McGee, Mary Ellen and Robert McGee branch of the Boys and Girls Club, which is really a treasure in our little town, is doing to help grow and nurture the youth in our little town of Fountain Hills. I'm sure you've heard maybe the saying that your life is God's gift to you. What you do with your life is your gift to God. And so I'm confident that you're going to see that played out this afternoon as you listen to some of the most talented artists, and I've heard them, the most talented artists that you will ever hear. You'll see the results of commitment of people who are providing that nurturing, those activities and that commitment to the youth in our town, and the service that the members of the mission committee, the Fountain Hills Presbyterian Church, and all the missions in the church are providing. So this is our prayer in this space of worship. Please welcome the Sonoran Wind Quintet. Enjoy.
afternoon. Thank you so very much for coming, and it's just going to be hopefully a really great afternoon for you guys. That last piece we played is called Ampurica Roca, and it's a paso doble. Of course, most of us know this as like a Spanish dance, so you can imagine somebody, with the rose in there. But anyways, but I wanted you guys to know that it's actually a paso doble was actually originally created to keep proper pace for the Spanish military in the 1700s. So that's actually where it came from. It was not introduced to the bullfighting ring until the mid-1800s, and then adopted into a popular dance step that we all know today. Ampurito Roca is one of the better-known pieces of Spanish music around the world, so you probably recognize it. And it's a 1925 composition by a Spanish musician and composer. His name is Juan Texador, and he actually named it after one of his students who was then 12 years old. Her name was Ampurito Roca. So then we're going to move on to our next piece, and it's titled Miniatures, and it's by a gentleman named William Grant Still. And William Grant Still, he broke many barriers during his career, including being the first African-American composer to write orchestral works and have them performed by a major symphony orchestra, as well as being the first conductor of color to lead a major American symphony. This piece is a series of folk tunes in 5 movements, but we're only going to be playing 3. And the first one is called Ride in Old Pain, and it's themed to the U.S. backdrop of a cowboy riding in the desert of New Mexico. And then the next one's called Yaravai, and it's a Peruvian folk tune. Yaravai means to lament. And the final is Adolorido from Mexico, and it's based on an ancient way of communication by the natives where they convey the news of heroic deeds and accidents and love affairs in song. So I hope you enjoy the next piece.
Good afternoon. Next we have a flute feature. If you listen to AM radio about 50 years ago, you might recognize this. It was really popular here in Arizona. And it features our flutist who is right now completing her doctoral degree at ASU, Diane. And it's a fun little work written by Marin Marais, a French composer who wrote a lot of chamber music, and pretty much this is what he's mostly known for now, this little piece for flute. And then we're going to play an excerpt from the most famous opera of all time, Carmen, from 1876. This is the section called The Dragons of Alcala. Dragoons were soldiers, and they're walking through the mountain looking for the bad guys, I suppose. Okay.
The next piece we're going to play for you is by an Italian composer. His name was Giuseppe Cambini, and he lived just around the same time as Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. In fact, they were rivals. Who knew, in reading the notes of Mozart, he spoke about somebody who was a concert organizer and composer named Cambini, who was trying to not program any of his works. He kept deliberately omitting Mozart from his programs. So Mozart and Cambini were not very good friends. But what Cambini did was very new for the time. Cambini took a look at these 5 instruments, the clarinet, the bassoon, the horn, the oboe, and the flute, and said, I think those instruments would sound pretty good together. There were no such things as woodwind quintets before Cambini's time. He was one of the very first composers to put these 5 instruments together. That's something that not even Mozart did. So this is a very historical piece for woodwind quintets. This is the first piece. This piece we're going to play now is Cambini's quintet in B-flat major. And it's very operatic. You'll hear different voices coming out. Everybody has something to say in this piece. You'll hear the clarinet singing, talking. The bassoon will have a big lyrical solo, the horn, the oboe, and the flute. It's a very conversational piece, and it was very new for its time. This is the first movement of Cambini's quintet for woodwinds in B-flat major, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you.
Didn't I tell you? Some of the most talented artists that you'll ever hear. So these 5 individuals have given their time and talent this afternoon to support a whole lot of special people in our community. This is the 4th year that they've performed in our sanctuary to benefit others. And in this case, thanks to the passion and tireless efforts of one of our mission members, Leslie Hermanson. She's the brains, the brawn, and the heart of this outfit. So thanks to her, and of course the generosity of everyone here today, many children in our community will benefit from the work that the Boys and Girls Club does. So I'm going to bring up Miss Lauren Stratton, who's the program director, I believe that's the proper title, of the Mary Ellen and Robert McGee branch of the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Scottsdale, to provide more information. And there are donation pots at the entrance, right inside of the sanctuary doors, painted by a renowned local artist, Fountain Hills artist, Jack Morris, in the off-season. So checks can be made payable to the, and Lauren will correct me if I'm wrong, the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Scottsdale, and in the memo put Mary Ellen and Robert McGee branch, and maybe scholarship. Or you can go on the website. Everything is eligible for a tax credit, which is important. Any amount, any form is greatly appreciated. And Lauren will explain about the scholarship. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for having me here. My name is Lauren Stratton. I'm the branch director at the Boys and Girls Club in town. And for those of you that are not aware of what Boys and Girls Club is, we are an out-of-school time program for kids kindergarten through seniors in high school. We do all kinds of programming. We have sports programs and recreation, arts, STEM programming, anything you can pretty much think of, we kind of offer for kids when they are out of school. We do full day camps in summer, spring break, fall break. We're there full days for parents that need us and kids that need us. We run a flag football league in town. We run the basketball league in town. And though we are a fee-based program, about 42% of the kids that come on a daily basis or involved in any of our programs are on financial assistance. So if a parent can prove that they are in financial need, we will not turn them away at all. So benefits like this really help us make our budget at the end of the year. So, and we have about 400 total members. We don't see them all every day. If we did, my hair would be a lot grayer than it is right now. But you know, I think the magic of Boys and Girls Club is best seen. So if you would love a tour, I'd love to give one. We have great facilities. We have great programs for our kids, and I'm always, always proud to show those off. So my card is on that table outside, and I'll stick around a little bit. If anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer those. There's a couple of my kiddos in the back there that come almost every day, so they can probably answer questions for you too about what they do every day at the club. But thank you so much for having us here again today, and please reach out if you have any questions or would like to see us. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. That was a piece by a French composer by the name of Jacques Hebert, and it was a trace of pieces or something like that, but we only played the Allegro version. There's actually 3 movements to it. The unique thing about that was it was Mr. Ebert's only woodwind quintet that he ever wrote. He was born just before the turn of the century, and World War I kind of got in the way, and most of his stuff was after the World War I. We're going to move it to a little bit more modern. We call it modern, but the kids don't call it modern. We're going to move it to the 1960s. And we're going to play a arrangement of a medley of Beatles tunes. And I would ask a bunch of trivia, but you guys would probably get it right anyways. So here we go with, it's actually called Beatles in Concerto.
really happy to have everybody here today. We really appreciate being able to play in this beautiful sanctuary. It's a great place to play. The acoustics are wonderful, and you guys have been a wonderful audience. And great appreciation to Leslie Hermanson, who really put this together. She was like the glue that held it together. So thank you, Leslie. And also we appreciate having Eric Williamson in the sound booth, turning the sound on and off so we don't have to fiddle with the microphone, and Kathy Cole for your help with the publicity, and the men who moved the furniture today. So thank you, everybody. Okay, we're coming up to our last two pieces. The second to the last piece is also from Carmen, the opera by Georges Bizet. And one of the most instantly recognizable melodies in all of opera is the Toreador song from Carmen. It's sung by the dashing bullfighter Escamarillo in Act 2 of Georges Bizet's masterpiece Carmen. As Escamarillo enters the smoky tavern of Lia's Pastilla, surrounded by adoring fans, Escamarillo returns a toast from the crowd and launches into a bravura demonstration of the thrills, dangers, and glories of the bullring. With swaggering confidence, he paints vivid scenes of the charged atmosphere, the frenzied crowd, the tense standoff with the bull, the roar of the victory, and the ultimate prize, love and acclaim. And I'm sure you'll recognize it, and if you don't recognize it from Carmen, you will definitely recognize it from the Bad News Bears movie. Okay, and then the very last piece, I'm going to name some tunes and see if you see what they all have in common. One tune is Semper Paratus. Another is Anchors Away. Raise your hand. Oh, anybody know so far what I'm talking about? The Quezon song. What do these all have in common? Military hymns. Yeah, it's going to be a salute to the different branches of the military service. So in this piece, which is arranged by our bassoonist, Marty Howe, you will hear the Army Goes Rolling Along, the Marines hymn, Anchors Away, the U.S. Air Force, and Semper Paratus. Semper Paratus I grew up listening to all the time. My dad was in the Coast Guard band, and Semper Paratus is always ready, and that's a Coast Guard band theme. They would end every concert with it. There is one service hymn missing. There's one branch of the service that has a very new hymn, Space Force, right? And that name of that tune is Semper Supra, always above. That's their theme. And I did some research on it, and it was written by a former member of the Air Force band, and the arranger of it is actually somebody I know from Connecticut. His name is Sean Nelson, and he's a trombonist in the Coast Guard band. So we don't have that in our arrangement. I've never heard it, but there is a sixth branch of this military. So thank you again for coming today. thing I forgot to say. If you have been or have a family member in one of these branches of service, please feel free to stand up during the hymn. That's what people usually do in the song. We'd love to see you do that. Thanks.
And on that note, thank you all again for coming out this afternoon. Appreciate it. And we'll see you again next year.
I know we need it. Should we get a picture of ourselves?